Okay, welcome back to my next episode of Viewer Mail. After a couple of weeks, I've got again a bunch of responses on my YouTube, Facebook, and forum sites. So I jotted a few things down here just to kind of touch a base on. Okay, someone asked if there were that I was so down on the local media, if there was anybody actually covering local bands besides Rob Figures for the metal scene and myself. And first of all, I like to say I don't really cover the music scene that much like I used to. Rob Figures definitely does more of that than I do, but in his own metal scene and metal band thing. But there is a guy I met just maybe about a month ago, I guess. I actually happened to be working on his car, and we got talking about music and stuff. Anyways, I'm going to name him. His name is Mike Caruso, and I've watched a bunch of his videos. He's got tons, literally tons of music videos online. He mainly focused on Rotary Fest bands, but he's got a lot of videos. I think on his website there's probably 200 video performances of local bands. So he's got a YouTube channel. You can just, if you want to search out on YouTube, you can go Mike Caruso Rotary Fest, do those 3 words, and you'll come up onto his site. He's very, you can tell he loves music because he's filmed a lot of bands. And from what I understand, he used to work for one of our local news things and has moved on, and he just does it for fun now. Yeah, so I'll give you hours of viewing pleasure of local bands, maybe some you've never heard of before. You can check him out online. And while we're on the topic of local news, I went to see the Gino Vanelli concert. That was at the Machine Shop, which is the paper mill's old actual machine shop converted into a concert venue. Anyway, so I had to laugh because the next day I read the article on one of our local news media things, and we're calling Gino Vanelli a crooner. And it's like, to me, Gino Vanelli is like a jazz fusion for a lot of his material. Anybody who grew up with Gino Vanelli in the early days, I mean, his music was powerful, a lot of intense musicianship. Crooner is not the word to describe Gino Vanelli. That to me is just someone who doesn't understand his music. Might hear one ballad that he did, and that's all. They think of that. See, that's called naive. Not looking into who you're reporting. Looking into the background of who you're reporting on. So anyways, that's my beef with local media. Again, they just don't get it. And then 2 days later, they're, you could read on their website, and you can see, them talking about the same band playing that same bar again. It's like, it's got to stop. We're all sick of it. Okay, I had a lot of questions about the Barking Eye blog that I had started a few years ago. It's been sitting dormant for probably a couple of years. It's funny, when I started that blog, it really focused in on musicians. It focused in on the bands that were from here that moved on to better things. We've had some play with the recording artists like Alda Nova and Lee Aaron and stuff. And I touched base on a lot of the musicians there, and I advertised it really well, but for some reason it didn't catch on. But the people that did read it really liked it. But the readership, although it was okay, it wasn't great. It just, for me, it just didn't seem to be catching on. The other side, there was a couple of, what's the term, dickheads that always like to come in and post and disrupt the flow of something you've got going. That's the problem with forums. You can't keep it on the track that you want or that most people want. I always allowed comments on my forums at the start, and as it goes along, there's always somebody that's got a beef with you or wants to disrupt the flow of things. And of course, that forum, blog I should say, it's not a forum, that blog, no different. I had a bunch of people on there, a couple anyways, that just kind of ruined it for other people. It doesn't ruin it for me, because all I have to do on those blogs is go, comments not allowed, and then I can rant on like I normally do. But I do like response from people who read those forums and blogs, and it kind of puts a damper on it when you can't get the response. But anyways, that's why that went down. I basically, I wanted feedback, and I didn't. The problem is these people that come on there and start ranting, well, you should be talking about this, you should be talking about that, you should be talking about this. It's like, go start your own blog. Like, get lost. Go start your own. They won't start their own because, for whatever reason, they're either, just sick bastards that just want to come and ruin the one you've got, or they're too stupid to start one. It just, after a while, like, you get up to here with it. It's like, okay, kid, go play in your sandbox somewhere else. So you just shut off comments. It just gets not annoying. It just gets like, okay, it's like dealing with a bunch of little kids. So it's funny though. The popularity of that blog at the time was minimal. You experiment. I've had other ones that did really well with great viewership, but that one for some reason didn't go. But even though it's been shut down for a couple of years, it records the viewership of how many people go to that site. And I was doing some, online cleanup and stuff like that, and I was going through some of the old files, and the viewership on that is huge numbers now. It's like word must have gotten around, and so I have tossed it around back and forth. I'm going to restart that, and I may do it. The interest seems to be there. Maybe if I relink it back up to my Facebook page, it might catch on again. I don't know. So I'm not saying for sure, but possibly. Okay, and I recently put up videos about criticism. And I've got a lot of good and bad and a few flack comments on that. The videos themselves are based, those 3 criticism videos are based on my experience, my own personal experience, how I've received it, and when I'm writing on about a band online, it's basically how I critique these other bands around me. And the good thing is, most of the comments were positive. The couple of negative ones, like they use that old phrase, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it at all. Well, the problem is, and I've always been against that comment, for the main reason is, how do you know when you're doing something wrong? And then the flip side is, what gives you the right to say that? What puts you on that high horse? It's like, but you're looking at that totally the wrong way. When you get criticism, it's up to you, the individual, to weed out what is good and bad. I explained it on the video. Clear as day, I explained it on the video. You take whatever the criticism is that's been planted in your lap, and it's up to you to explore it and see if it works for you. You can't just dismiss it. You can't go through life going, there's no such thing as bad criticism. There's no such thing as, learning to be the best in your music craft. You have to be able to, take something, take it, like this comment someone says, take it apart, weed out the good and bad of that comment, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, you just blow it off. But to just stand there and say, Glenn, you're an idiot for you shouldn't be saying that. You should always say good. Well, if I said good about every single musician, everybody would be walking around with a fat head. Really. It's like, you're great, I'm great, they're great, everyone is great. That's impossible. We're not all great musicians. You know, some of us have to learn to be better. So some people just took that the wrong way, as usual. But it's up to the individual to see the criticism of themselves and work to a plus, or just dismiss it as, you know, BS. You know, can't use it. Sorry, you lost. But anyways, that's basically the simple breakdown of those videos. I had a comment about the music video or the song that was done about me. It says it's just old news, you know. The bands, they used to, it was like a little war between the two bands and the one band and myself, and it just got into writing songs about each other, you know. And personally, for me, it was just totally enjoyable. I got the biggest laugh out of it. I can't speak for them. You have to ask them. But for me, it was totally enjoyable. And for me, I wrote a song that people just love, and it's been downloaded for free. You can download the drones for free on my website, Glen Thomas, or Glen the Freak Thomas Reverb Nation. It's free to download. Alrighty. We had somebody else comment about the CD stores in town. My reply is, what CD stores? They're gone. It's horrible. I hate it. Favorite place? Most younger people probably won't remember this place, but Mr. Disc. That was up on 17. Was the best place to buy CDs. Guy could get the rarest, most unusual stuff. You know, I don't think he ever said, nope, can't get it. He always said, I'll get it. I'll find it. And he did. And I miss that place to this day. I still talk to the owner, Todd, online. And, but, you know, his place was great. CD Plus was also fantastic. Jake and the gang up there, I miss them a lot. A lot of great music I used to get from there, including movie videos. And now we're left with one place. And you can't order from the big stores like Walmart. You can't just order what you want anymore. It's what you see is what you get. Well, that doesn't help most people, because most people have unique tastes and want something special. So it's a pretty sad situation. So you go buying stuff online and try and search it, but personally I hate it. I'd rather give the business to the local stores, but we don't have a local store. So that's that. We're in a dark place when you can't buy music that you want. Okay, another one, big issue, piracy. Piracy is so easy these days, it's scary. Being a musician, I was selling my music with different bands and CDs for the longest time. But in the last 2 years, the piracy thing has gone just crazy. I don't know if it's to deal with all these cell phones and stuff. I don't own a cell phone, but I just know people go crazy with downloading with phones. Anyways, the piracy thing is absolutely killing the music industry. You have to be an idiot to not think so. You can go and see torrent sites where, like, I'll take, for example, there's a band I really like, this Rival Sons band. Now, I have the CDs, and why would you not want the best quality possible with a CD? Why download into a stupid little phone to hear me, 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 me? Like, come on. So I always buy the physical CD because I love sound quality. My stereos system's all about sound quality. So, but you go on these torrent sites and you can't escape these torrent sites because they're everywhere. they're everywhere, allowing people to download stuff for free. It's so horrible. But anyways, Rival Sons, and you can see the Rival Sons CD being downloaded, 60 to 100 times, an hour, or 100 times a day. It's like, how many thousands of dollars this band's losing? And they're touring all over the place, trying to get to you so they can play for you, live. Isn't that what music's all about? You buy the music and you can't wait to see them live. Well, you're screwing that all up with this piracy. It's like, how's a band going to afford it? These record companies can't. They can't pay for the bands anymore. Half these bands they're living out of their suitcase. It's gone crazy. When you see, do the math. The band's selling a CD, and some of these bands aren't even with big labels. So let's say they're selling it off their website, and for $10, and it's being downloaded on a pirate site 100 times an hour. Well, calculate the money that this band is losing. They're not getting nothing. So they're writing music and you're absorbing it. And then I remember hearing, that was one of the excuses there a long time ago. I forget the guy's name. I almost hit him in the head. It was such a BS excuse for downloading. He goes, well, a lot of the bands, they'd only have like one or two good songs. It's like, no. So they write 10 songs, and those 10 songs find their audience. There's an audience for every one of the songs written. It's like, you can't think of that. It's like, you're not getting ripped off. You're going 10 songs and 2 are good and the rest are crap, so I shouldn't have to pay for them. Well, do you go into McDonald's and then eat the whole meal and then decide, it was, it wasn't as good. I don't want to pay for it. I mean, people do that, sure. Yeah, I know they do. I don't know. It just, with excuses like that, it just, you almost don't want these people to have your own music. It's like, you know what, you don't deserve to have it. Put it that way. Well, I don't know. I'm fed up with the piracy thing. Yeah, the piracy thing. It's just killing the music industry. I don't want to have to download MP3s from Amazon, shitty quality. I just don't want that. I want the hard CD copy, But unfortunately, all this technology is it's killing high fidelity, An MP3 is not the same as a CD. Sorry, folks. You got to do a little research on that. Sometimes you don't have a choice. The bands have given up putting out CDs, and it's all because of piracy. Now, a lot of people say, well, in the old days, they used to record, on a cassette on the, off the radio. And you know what? Anybody who ever did that back in our day went out and bought the album anyways. They went out and bought it. It's just, nowadays, they don't buy it. They just don't. Sorry. Sales prove it. Anyways, I can get ranting on that forever. Okay, on a lighter note, I had a question of what are the favorite musicians I played with. That's pretty easy. Two of the favorite guitar players, there's one that's still with me right now, is Tony Kajnar. Fantastic player, very universal player. He loves to play different styles, and if he doesn't know something in a different style, he's always game to experiment and try it. And that's the way you have to be these days. Like Tony, I met him years ago, just in passing. I was doing a guitar clinic at the public library many years ago, and he was at this particular clinic. So at that time he was in a certain style of music, and then he evolved into all these other different styles. So he takes a little bit of each, well, actually masters each, and then moves on and blends them all together. So that's what you have to be. That makes you a better musician. It keeps your enthusiasm going. But he's fantastic player. Great songwriter too. Another great guitar player, Gary Hatch. He's in Sioux, Michigan. One of the best guitar players in our Twin Sioux areas. And if you haven't heard him play, you don't know what you're missing. He's a fantastic player. Bass player, hands down, George Rowledge was my favorite bass player to play with. He started off as just a punk kid in one of my bands. I think he was like 15 years old, 16 years old, but he wanted to learn. You know, he wasn't saying, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. He was always willing to learn. So we were in a lot of bands together. Absolutely great bass player. Now he's a great sound guy with his own company. So, and he's retired the bass these days, but which is sad because, you know, I miss seeing him play. But sound wise, he's got a whole new direction. So, favorite drummer, Alan McCalla. Is one of my favorites. He's a very technical player. He helped me a lot with sight reading and going into different styles of music books for drums. Fantastic player. He's also the one that enlightened me to different styles of music more than I was into at that time. So, yeah. And vocally, I've had a lot of good singers. Jason Talfer, excellent singer. I played with him. I wish I had played in more bands with him, but our style of music were quite different at the time. But excellent vocalist. Yeah, that's one off the top of my head anyways. Okay, a lot of people have asked about the song that I use at the intro of this and other videos, or not all videos, but most of them. It's actually a song called Bullet Face. I wrote that a few years ago. It's one of my darker tunes. Bullet, each letter in the word bullet means something to me. So if the spelling seems odd, that's basically what it is. It's just something that means something in my own personal life. And yeah, so I don't want to hear, you spelled it wrong. No, I didn't. It's the way the song is. But anyways, I'm glad people like that song. It's gotten quite a few downloads. You can download it for free at Glenn the Freak Thomas at Reverb Nation. I think there's a video up there too, just a video with still shots in it that you can pass around to all your friends. It's all free, no money, just go nuts with it. Let's see, what else do we have on here? Well, they ask if one was if there are any other musicians in my family. He says, yeah, there's quite a few actually. I have a music teacher aunt from down in Ottawa, taught piano, and she's retired now. My mom was a classical pianist. My brother was a lead singer, guitar player, harmonica player. One of my older sister, is a piano player. My younger nephew was a drummer in a punk band, still playing drums. He was in a band called Fist Magnet, drummer for them. My father was a violin player. My stepdad is passed away not too long ago, but he was a guitar player, singer in country bands. Some of the old real country, like before it became rock musicians playing country. Yeah, so there's quite a few musicians in my family, so it made for great Christmas parties with all the get-togethers. And I think that's about it. Somebody was asking about the stick technique, and if I have a pair of sticks handy here. Yes, I do. It's gonna be hard because the camera is stationary. And they were asking, do you actually play with your hands spread like this? On one of the other videos I was showing, you know, it spread like this. And I guess I didn't elaborate on that. The whole idea of that grip is to the first knuckle of each finger, spread it right out with the thumb right about here. And the whole idea of that is to just play this way on a pillow. Okay, so there's no rebound. My whole stick technique is based on no rebound. And so basically you're just moving the fingers, and the thumb is the pivot point. I don't know if the camera can catch that. And you just do this on a pillow. And what that does is just builds the finger muscles up and the coordination. And it takes a long time. It was the hardest grip I ever learned on drums. Because I was like most people, I would just use the fist thing. But I grew up traditional. And I still play traditional, which is this way here. It's kind of hard to show it on this camera because it's stationary. But this grip here took a long time. It took me well over a year, and I used to practice all the time. So once you get this grip, you can move the fingers in a bit, not a lot, but you don't have to have them spread to their almighty ends here. But the whole key is all the fingers stay on the stick no matter what you do. See, they move like this, right? No rebound. So every note you play, you're actually moving the fingers. So when you hit in and release, hit in, release, the fingers, you know, for the most part stay on there. I have really short pinkies, so it was very frustrating to get the hang of that. So I had to swear a lot to kind of get it. But once it starts to kick in, you get amazing speed and coordination. The downfall to it is you actually get more power than you actually would imagine just from your finger muscles. So it takes a while to figure out the sweet spot for hitting rim shots without destroying the stick. And people see me play and it's like, well, you're hardly moving, and it's all finger. Like there's a little bit of a whip action as you go around the drum set and stuff, or you can use the wrist and the forearm a little bit, but most of the time you won't see me moving too much. And I always get asked, how do you get that power? It's just like a snap with the fingers. Just train the fingers to give it that whip into the drums. And you can still play really quiet. But the whole idea is, well, you know, when you're first starting this grip, it feels like the sticks want to fall out of your hands all the time. That you will eventually get over that, where you train your fingers to actually grab the stick. But yeah, it takes a little bit. So that's the whole deal. The spread apart finger thing, that's just for the pillow, no rebound. The whole concept of this is to train your fingers at the widest spread and train the muscles to hold that stick within the first knuckle bend, right here, right there, across all those first lines. So that's the easiest way to explain it. It will take, like I say, a year, easy, a year or more to get the hang of that. And if you got the gumption I did, I saw my friend Alan come back. He learned it in Toronto. I forget the teacher. Anyways, when he came back, it was like, holy smokes, I couldn't believe the technique. It was like, he blew me away how fast and how precise his sticking had become after learning that grip. Because yeah, he went away for quite a long time, and for drum lessons and stuff in Toronto, and I just couldn't believe the difference when he came back. It was like, it wasn't the same guy. It was just amazing. So he got me hooked on it. So that's the scoop on that. I've had a couple other questions about this recording thing with the drums. It's difficult for me because, you know, I have my drum set and my recording console and computer are in different spots. So I use a wireless system with wireless mouse and keyboard. And I'm going to try and move the camera so you can see this. So up here is a monitor, is a computer monitor, and it runs into my computer. It's running two monitors, So that way I can see the software I'm using. Use the software, view the software that I'm using to record with. It took a long time to figure it out. I didn't want to run cables and stuff like that. It just became a pain in the butt. But that's the scoop. And I monitor it through just a headphone amp behind the drum set. Real simple setup. I'm going to do something more in depth on it later on, so if that doesn't answer any of your questions, then I will be doing another video for that. All right, so that's viewer mail for Halloween week 2013. All right, see ya.